We're going to be getting into the art of tanking. Is it good? Is it bad for the league? Does it incentivize losing in the NFL? We're just going to go ahead and talk about it. You know what, Tyler? I want you to go ahead and give me your thoughts on if you think tanking is an overall positive or if it's something that should be outlawed.
I mean, if you look at the rule book, it is already outlawed. I think it's just not really enforced. And I think that the quote
Agreed.
unquote art of tanking it's kind of bullshit, honestly. I think it hurts the integrity of the game. But not only that, it just kind of makes the rebuild process very copy and paste. It's very cookie cutter, right? You see all of these teams, the tank for Tua, the tank for Trevor, and
Tank
I'm
for
missing.
Burrow.
Yeah, yeah,
Tank for Burrow.
yeah. No, tank for Burrow. Like all of these teams, they all rebuilt from tanking, which yeah is a great thing. Whenever you're hurting the integrity of the game, you really don't see any kind of creativity in terms of how these teams are being rebuilt. And I think that's kind of like that's the fun of the rebuild process is getting creative and getting these players through different avenues because hey, maybe we don't have a top draft pick this year. Maybe we don't have a whole lot of cap space. Like in that situation, yeah, that's fine. But whenever you're being as blatant as some of the teams that we've seen this year, not going to name any names, Raiders, uh, yeah, no, it doesn't work. It's not very fun to watch. You're not getting eyeballs on the TV. I think it's bad for business, and I think it's bad for the game. To sum it all up there.
And I could actually 100% see where you're coming from and
Yeah.
all that. And yes, I have never seen a tank job as blatant as the Raiders currently right now, sitting any player that has any kind of significance to the team has been either benched or put on IR. And the thing is, the NFL is not going to crack down on the Raiders. They're not going to do anything about it
No,
because
which is
the Raiders
insane
can.
because they cracked down on the Dolphins for doing it in Brian Flores' first year.
And I would say I think the reason taking tanking is so as big as it's ever been. Like there's a tanking allegation for at least one or two teams every season.
Oh yeah.
And I think I think the reason of that being is because for one, NFL owners and NFL GMs and front offices do not have patience.
No. I mean, I think you can
And
include
two,
NFL fans in that as well.
oh, absolutely. And what do NFL fans, front offices, owners, what do they want? They want a shiny new quarterback.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And the success rate of the tank for blank quarterback, it's kind of like for Burrow, it hit. For
Yep.
Trevor Lawrence, it looks like if Liam Cohen sticks around, it's gonna hit.
Yeah.
The tank for Tua didn't. I mean, it hasn't quite worked out there. But
Yeah.
the big one right
Unfortunately.
now is it's the tank for Mendoza.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't remember it. I think the last time a quarterback prospect has been receiving this kind of praise, I think it has been since that Burrow and that Trevor Lawrence draft, where like everyone is really like on top of the world with Fernando Mendoza. And it's kind
I
of
don't know.
incentivizing.
I think I disagree with you on that point. Because I mean, look at Caleb Williams. Like we knew that Caleb Williams was
Okay,
going to
I
be the
know.
number one
Okay,
pick.
I you're right. I
And
did.
you can
I
include
did
the
blank
Bears
out
in
on
that
Caleb Williams.
conversation.
But you're right. Caleb Williams, he was getting like next Patrick Mahomes hype.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're 100% right on that. I spaced out on Caleb Williams, but Mendoza is getting he's getting a lot of praise.
Oh yeah, for
NFL
sure.
fans and teams really like him. I wouldn't be surprised if 25 out of the 32 teams, maybe even more than that, have Mendoza as their number one quarterback. And the only reason I'm speaking on Mendoza is because what Tyler alluded to earlier was the blatant tanking job of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh my god, it's bad. It's
And as a Raiders fan, being in the position where your team is so clearly tanking, it's in a situation I've never really been in before. And as of right now, I am on the tank train for the Raiders. Lose to the Chiefs, get the number one overall
yeah.
pick, get your quarterback, and because the Raiders haven't had a true fresh rebuild in over a decade.
For
And
sure.
my long ass explanation to my answer, do I think tanking should be eliminated, or should there be some kind of draft process that they do differently? No, I do not. The Raiders need to draft Fernando Mendoza, #1 overall. Tank, tank, tank. Tanking's alive and well, baby. I don't think tanking should be, I don't think it should be eliminated outright, but I do think NFL teams should be penalized in, maybe you want to take like a fourth round pick or a third round pick for a team. I think the NFL should implement something to that nature.
Sure. Sure, absolutely. Or even doing what the NBA has done.
In the NBA, the team with the worst record very rarely gets the first pick.
Yeah, exactly. So what it does is it kind of levels the playing field a little bit in terms of, hey, we suck this year. We may or may not get the #1 overall pick. And I think it adds a little bit more excitement to draft night as well.
And also, the NBA is very, very, very obvious when it comes to sometimes where they rig these fucking NBA draft lotteries. Like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, LeBron James was born in Akron, Ohio, and he's just so happened to go to the fucking Cleveland Cavaliers at #1 overall. Yeah. All
beautiful.
right. But
Oh man.
in that case, me and Tyler seem to disagree. I don't think tanking should be outlawed completely. I think there should be some kind of penalty for it, though, a fine to the owner or
Yeah.
something.
And I think a big thing too is it's really bad whenever it's so blatantly done. They don't really have any kind of repercussions for when a team is so blatantly tanking.
But even the teams that were just blatantly, and I know there's examples of teams that are just bad. Like, I
Yeah,
understand there are teams that are just terrible, like the 0-16 Browns in 2017. That was just
yeah,
a terribly ran, and that it was just a terrible roster. That was just a really bad
yeah,
team, and they got the #1 overall pick,
yeah,
and they fairly deserved the #1 overall pick because that team needed talent. They needed
yeah.
somebody
Exactly,
to bring in
exactly.
there.
But they weren't doing it on purpose. Like they were trying to win games, and that
Yeah, and
I
the
think that's the difference between what the Browns are doing or what the Browns were doing at that time versus what the Raiders are doing now. Like the Raiders are just like, nah, fuck it. We're just gonna be ass. We're gonna be super turbo ass and get the #1 pick, and then we're gonna be balling, baby. But I think that
And the
hurts the
thing is
integrity of the
that,
game.
and I understand that, and it's not like the Raiders have like an absolutely terrible roster.
Exactly.
I mean,
The
they
issue
got
is that
they
you're
got
sitting all of the
JT.
good players.
That's the thing. It's like you have guys that could go win games. And fair enough, the Raiders were not winning games even when the season was early because they are
Yeah,
a poorly ran team. And Pete Carroll has done a terrible job with the Raiders. And schematically and team building, he's done a very poor job. And there's a reason he's not getting another year with the Raiders. They're going to bring someone in. You can't rebuild with the 74-year-old head coach. And I
no, not at
understand
least with one that's kind of
that,
stuck in its waves.
yeah, and the game has passed him by. And when it comes to tanking, with the clearly how the Raiders are tanking, I just think it shouldn't be able to be this blatant. But as a Raiders fan, I can only complain so much if we end up with Fernando Mendoza.
Of course, I feel like as a fan of that specific team, it's like, yeah, no, like I want this team to be turned around and I want it to be turned around quickly. However, it's not good for the game. I mean, if you're sitting there and we have half of these teams that are trying to lose, it's football unwatchable, in my opinion. We want to see these guys succeed and not be put in positions to just completely implode on themselves.
When you're on the football field, I think you should be always playing to win.
Agreed.
That's what you're there
Agreed.
for. And
And
that's what you're getting paid that much money to do.
yeah, and I feel like from a player's perspective, like, yeah, you're going to go out there and you're going to go play your ass off, as best as you can. But, whenever we're starting our third string defense against the Philadelphia Eagles, for example, it's not going to bode super well. Why? Because we have so much more talent, or there's so much more talent on the other team. Why? Because you sat all the best players. It's really frustrating to watch from the outside looking in.
All right. And with that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to close this one out. That's a nice little debate. And I know that it's a conversation that a lot of people like to have. But in that case, we're going to close it out. Thank you guys so much for watching, as always. Really appreciate everything y'all have been doing for this channel. It's been growing faster and it's been going just as good as I ever thought it was going to go. And we appreciate y'all very much.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is something that, Barker and I have been wanting to do for God knows how long at this point. And so you're really making dreams come true over here. This is like Disneyland.
All right. And like I said, we're going to go ahead and close this out. Drop your thoughts down below. Be respectful. Peace out, guys.
Peace.